Hey, we're Ben and Jeff. We play in a band called Anthem.
All right. So you're currently on tour with City and Color. How's the tour been going so far?
Tour's going well. Yeah, this is our first tour across Canada, west to east. So apparently Canadians don't go to the prairies much, but we can say that we have been, and we enjoyed it. That was, I think, one of the best times of the tour. Driving on one road and you don't have to turn for 300 kilometers. It was great.
Next month you're going to be playing Carnegie Hall, which is one of the most well-known venues around. What are some of the venues or festivals that are still on your bucket list of places that you want to play?
We'd like to do a headline show at Massey Hall. That's our favorite venue around in Canada. Maybe our favorite venue we've ever played in. And we got to play there twice. They had 2 shows there on this tour. It's really nice. I think the architecture is got some like psychological magic in it that is just so. So that would kind of be a dream come true, to do a show there of our own.
Yeah, and I'd like to play in Australia. I've never been there. Maybe it's because I'm looking at all these animal pictures.
In September of last year, you guys posted that you were going to go on a hiatus, and then a couple of weeks later, you announced that you're going to be on this tour. So are you still planning on taking that break after these dates?
Yeah, this is part of the break, all of this. Yeah, I guess the announcement was kind of confused, and a lot of people thought we were saying maybe we were breaking up or didn't know what we were saying. I'm not sure we knew exactly what we were saying, but we're not doing any more headline tours or headline shows until we take like a nice extended break to work on a bunch of new material that we've been working on. There's 3 different collections of songs. Well, it depends how you break them up, but there's a lot of songs that we want to work on, and we just got this dream studio set up in Providence in Rhode Island, and so really where our mind is just to go back there and work on those projects. There's some sculpture projects also that we're working on, and some projects designing a few new instruments that we want to try to build. So we've got these different ideas, and we're going to take however long it takes to do those before we go out on another headline tour. Because we were just on tour constantly, you know. It was this situation of by the time we get home, there was another tour had been proposed, and we ended up traveling pretty much nonstop for about 3.5 years, and like that's not really a good way to keep working on material and like stay connected to reality, you know, kind of numbing. So we're just gonna go and work out some new stuff.
Also, I noticed that you guys are going to be part of the Hunger Games soundtrack. How did that come to be? Did you present songs to them, or they contacted you guys?
No, we never heard of the Hunger Games, but I guess somebody floated our name, and it fit the description of what kind of artist they wanted. And T-Bone Burnett called us up, and he asked if we wanted to come down and record, write a song for it, and come down and record. And also we were doing this Chieftains project at the same time. You know, they just put out a new CD for their 50th anniversary with a lot of younger artists that they collaborated with. And so T-Bone was recording that as well, and we were going to be traveling through LA, so it just seemed like of course, we have a lot of respect for T-Bone. And so we wrote a song for that, and we learned a song for the Chieftains, and went in 2 days, and it was this beautiful studio called The Village in LA, like much nicer than anything we've ever gotten to record in. It was an interesting experience. I'm not sure it was the best way for us to record. Like, we have our own style that usually takes a lot longer, and we do it in studios that we set up like to our own specifications. It involves a lot of room sound and reamping and like things that are very time consuming, and you end up throwing out a lot of what doesn't work. And we got in there, and everything's perfect like right away. We didn't understand how to use the medium. There's like nothing to struggle against or make creative decisions, because everything just sounds instantly good, you know. So it was a little bit confusing, and but I think we learned a lot watching the way he works and the way he gets excited about music. the kind of like, he has a very, he like bypasses the intellect completely when he listens to music, and just is like this child sitting in front of the giant speakers, and it's just like it passes through him, and you feel his excitement, and like that was probably the most inspiring thing about the project, was just to watch the way he lights up and the way that he works. Really pro engineers too, all of his guys. They're the best.
Would you work with him again, or?
It would be hard for us to do our own project with him, just because of how long it takes us to figure out what we're doing, and you know, we want to try recording about 45 songs on this break. So
yeah, he's really busy. He has
busy.
Maybe, you know, in any given week, at least 2, maybe 3 different projects going on. So,
and we're planning on recording everything and probably throwing out more than half of it. You know, that's just the way that we work. Like we do a lot of stuff, and then we sit back and look at it and figure out what seems to be working and what doesn't seem to be working, and we'll just cut things very liberally. Just half the record will be gone, and I don't think someone like T-Bone wants to get involved in something that's going to be treated that way. Maybe, I don't know.
Which bands do you see as part of your lineage? So like, if band X didn't exist, how would it have affected your sound?
Ivor Cutler is my favorite songwriter, and one of my favorite singers too. And I think that a lot of the music we're listening to right now is Captain Beefheart and his Magic Band, and I think that their chemistry and their approach to recording has had a pretty big influence on at least the spirit that we take to it. The kind of, he creates a world of like personalities that is closed off from the outside world. Like they'll go into strange kinds of isolation, and there's all kinds of rumors. Like he was always carrying around these different hypnosis books and like electroshock therapy books, and like weird. He believed in mind control and maybe achieved it to some extent. But it was, you know, it was like a weird little chemistry experiment every time he got the band together. And our approach to recording involves the same kind of isolation and the same kind of like waiting for an event to happen. And sometimes you have to wait for a long time. You know, he worked for like 1.5 years on the music for Trout Mask Replica, and I think we are inspired by that kind of patience and deliberateness. But he also is able to like enter a state of hypnosis where he really can perform the stuff in a way that's primitive too. But that can take a long time coming if you're thinking and planning how you're going to make a record. And our approach has been different forms of isolationism, like the first record that we made with a real well-recorded record. We went to a small island off the coast of Rhode Island in the winter. It's like a summer destination, so it's like this totally empty island, and we're just set up in a basement of a summer house there, and you know, that was our way. And then for our most recent record, we went into this abandoned pasta sauce factory that's in the outskirts of Providence. And again, it was this strange, like, surreal environment where you're living on a 50,000-foot open factory floor, and like the whole band is like camped out there in sleeping bags. And there's just something that happens, and you know, maybe you can't even hear it. Maybe it's just kind of like hopeless romanticization. But even if it is, that's fine with me, you know, like, because it was really fun to just all be there together and get on the same wavelength and like wait for some music to occur. So that'll be the project this summer and this fall, be to find a new way to do that.
Also, I'm pretty excited to play with the Dirty Three. That's another band that I think is a big influence.
True. They're Nick Cave's backing band, at least some of the time.
And we'll be playing with them twice next year. I'm sorry, this year. Yeah, I guess both in England.
While fans are waiting for the new music, are there any other projects that they can check out while they're waiting?
Yeah. There's the Mythology blog. I would recommend people check out a blog that I'm doing about this sculpture project that's kind of related to the music, but it's kind of its own thing. And you can find it on our website. There's a little butterfly, and you can click on it, and it goes to this blog that shows a project that I'm doing with a local artist in Rhode Island. And we're making a strobe light-based three-dimensional animation. Like these moths spin around on a wheel and are illuminated by different strobe lights from different angles that create the perception of fluid motion. And there's also like bells and whistles and different kinds of sweet features that we're building on. But that's just been a fun way to like do something that's not touring, like get home and have something to get hands dirty, and that's been a lot of fun. And that's on there, and that might factor into the next record also, like because we may write some music to accompany the sculpture, and so that's something. Oh, also we just did a film soundtrack that's coming out, and that'll be released. We'll probably just like put it up for download or something. But it's for a movie called Arcadia, and it just premiered. Actually, right around now, it's premiering in the Berlin Film Festival. And so that was our first soundtrack work, and it has more of an improvised quality. There's a couple songs, but it's a lot of instrumental music. But yeah, it's something different.